It is 11:07 p.m. The apartment is finally quiet, and your cat is sitting on the arm of the couch, under the yellow lamp, looking straight at you. You stop scrolling, lift your head, and hold that gaze. Because it feels tender, almost cinematic. This is the part most people get wrong. You think you're sharing a sweet little moment. Your cat turns its head, steps down, and leaves the room. You tell yourself it was random, but it wasn't tea, or it happens at 6:40 in the morning in the kitchen. Your cat is by the water bowl. You crouch, lean in, stare right into those huge pupils, speaking in your softest voice. Like love should be obvious to them. The tail gives one tight flick, the body angles sideways. Your hand hangs there in the air, while your cat suddenly becomes aloof again. Then the story gets written the human way. You buy better treats. You try louder affection. You call the cat moody, independent, dramatic, impossible to read. Meanwhile, the actual evidence is tiny and physical. The pause before they pass your legs gets longer. They choose the far end of the bed instead of your pillow. When you walk into a room, they don't run, but they stop settling fully. That is why this mistake is so common. It feels loving from your side. A human sees eye contact as warmth, attention, connection, proof that somebody is really with you. But in a cat's daily world, a stare isn't built from romance or reassurance. It is built from pressure, distance, and who is forcing the next move. So you stand there convinced you're offering closeness, while your cat reads the entire scene as social tension. There is no hissing, and there is no scratching. Watch the picture closely, and it becomes hard to unsee. The eyes narrow first, the whiskers pull just slightly, the head turns before the body does. Maybe they start grooming one shoulder as if nothing happened. Maybe they jump down and inspect a table leg. That was apparently urgent all of a sudden. And once you notice that, a more uncomfortable possibility appears. Some of the distance owners feel from their cats is not rejection at all. It is a running tally of these tiny misreads. The too long stare, the looming face, the hand arriving after the body already said enough. Not because you're cruel, not because your cat is cold, because the scene is being read through completely different rules. From your side, it feels sudden. One more stroke, and the purring cat snaps, twists, or jumps away, but inside a body built only inches off the ground. This is not moodiness, it is a threshold event. A cat's nervous system is constantly sorting touch into 3 bins. Safe, relevant, and way too much. The same hand can move from comfort to irritation. Without any change in your intention, their body is not reading your affection as a story. It is reading pressure, repetition, speed, and angle, and whether escape still feels available. At first, the contact may sit in the parasympathetic lane, warmth, familiar scent, and a predictable rhythm. Then the input just keeps coming. The receptors in the skin don't experience love in the abstract. They experience repeated stimulation on the same corridor of nerves. When that repetition stacks too long, the sympathetic nervous system starts edging in, and cats are especially built for this kind of fine-grained monitoring. They are both predator and prey, which means their baseline settings favor control over overwhelm. They like contact best when it remains interruptible, predictable, and brief. When touch becomes something they can't regulate, the body solves the problem fast. A swat, a nip, or a sudden leap off your lap aren't moral decisions. The same logic shows up outside petting too. Move the old blanket from the warm chair, flip the couch cushions, throw away the dented box by the window. And from a human view, you just tidied the room. From a cat's view, a known safety node has been erased. Cats map home through scent, root memory, and repeated body contact. Facial pheromones on the table edge, paw scent near the corner, the exact height of the armrest, the clean line of sight to the hallway. This is how a place becomes readable. Once a spot has been logged by the nervous system as safe, the body relaxes there differently and breathing drops. So when that spot disappears, the problem isn't that they liked that blanket. The problem is that a piece of the safety map is suddenly gone, and the cat has to rerun the scan. Is this still my route? Is there still cover here? Does this space still smell like me? That tiny hesitation you see before they jump up, the extra circling. The choice to sleep somewhere less exposed. That is the body recalibrating, not the cat being difficult. What looks small to you can hit a cat like a systems failure. Move a bed 2 feet, slide a chair away from the window, shift the blanket that always smells like them. To you, it is redecorating, but to the cat, It is a rewritten sensory map. The map that kept their nervous system predictable has been rewritten without warning. That is where the science strips away the fantasy. Your cat is not being dramatic or weirdly attached to one corner of the couch. Their HPA axis is tracking change. Their sympathetic nervous system is deciding whether this is manageable, and their cortisol load can rise long before you see any obvious behavior. The same cold biology applies at the food bowl. You think you're being affectionate when you crouch there chatting, reaching in, hovering over their shoulders while they eat. But feeding is one of the most exposed moments in a cat's day. Head down, jaw working, attention narrowed. In that posture, they're not having a bonding ritual, they're managing vulnerability. So when a large primate body leans over them mid-meal, the vagus nerve doesn't magically interpret your sweet voice as comfort. And the aftermath is usually misread. The cat scarfs food and vomits later, or starts pausing between bites, or leaves the bowl half full and comes back only when the room is empty. In multi-cat homes, this pressure compounds. Another cat nearby can create the same internal alarm without a single hiss. Social tension, blocked exits, and scent competition. Low-grade allostatic load can turn mealtime into a guarded task instead of a safe one. And this is the part where a lot of good people start blaming themselves. They think, so I messed this up. I ignored the door greeting. I walked past them. I made them feel small in their own house. But no, that is not the right conclusion. You weren't being cold, you were just being human. You came in carrying groceries, answering messages, shaking rain off your coat. You were already halfway into the next task. Your cat was operating through a different survival system entirely. To you, that doorway moment was 3 forgettable seconds. To them, it was a social check-in with a trusted creature entering shared territory. That mismatch can create distance, but it is not betrayal, and the same goes for the silence that follows. If your cat used to wait by the door and now doesn't, that is easy to take personally. It can feel like you failed some invisible test, but cats aren't sitting there writing a moral judgment about your character. Their nervous system is simply tracking patterns. Did this approach lead to co-regulation? A soft voice, affiliative proximity, a signal that the environment is safe, or did it lead to noise, movement, divided attention, and no response at all? Over time, their body economizes. It stops spending energy on rituals that don't get completed. That is learning, not resentment, adaptation, not punishment. So if you're hearing this with a knot in your stomach, thinking about all the times you swept past the hallway, while your cat stood there with the tail up and the tiny chirp ready, just let that knot loosen. You didn't abandon your cat, you didn't ruin the bond. You were trying to read feline behavior with human assumptions, and human assumptions are loud. We think love is big, scooping them up, kissing their head, buying the right bed, filling the bowl. Cats often experience safety as small, precise, predictable things. The angle of your body, whether you block the exit, whether you notice their approach, whether your presence lowers their allostatic load instead of adding to it. Different species, different instruments, same relationship, translated badly. That is why this is repairable so fast. Not because the bond was fake, but because the bond is usually stronger than the misunderstanding. A cat doesn't need a speech, an apology, or a dramatic reset. Most of the time, they need one clean moment that makes sense to their body. Today, when you come home, pause before you fully enter the room, turn slightly sideways, instead of facing them head-on. If they're there, give one slow blink and one soft hello, then let them choose the distance. 3 seconds, no pressure, just a signal their nervous system can actually use. So don't leave this video thinking you need a whole new training plan. You don't. Tonight, do one tiny thing. When your cat is already settled somewhere, lower your body, soften your face, and give one slow blink from a respectful distance. Then stop, no reaching, no calling their name over and over, no trying to make the moment happen. Just offer the signal and let their nervous system decide what to do with it. That is enough, because sleep location is not a loyalty test, it is a safety map. On your chest, near your feet, on the chair, across the room, or in the hallway with a clean exit route. Each spot is your cat showing you how much parasympathetic ease they can access around you right now. Many cats appear to choose distance, not because affection is missing, but because their body is still managing allostatic load, keeping one thread of vigilance online while they rest. When you stop pushing and start observing, You give co-regulation a chance to happen naturally. This doesn't mean you failed your cat. It usually means you were reading a feline safety system with human assumptions. So try the slow blink once tonight, then watch what happens over the next few days. Do they hold your gaze less tensely? Do they choose the same room more often? Do they settle a little faster, or rest with their body angled less toward the door? Come back and tell me where your cat chose to sleep after you changed nothing, except that one signal